I'm Dr. Charles Martin, but you can call me Charley of MasterYourPractice.com. And today we're going to have a very important topic, one I think you're going to enjoy. But before we get started, I have some very important goodies for you over at MasterYourPractice.com. And these include a book, How to Master Your Practice, and some help for dealing with this present crisis. I suggest that you will like these and actually find them useful. So go check them out over at MasterYourPractice.com. Today, I want to talk with you about how to gain pricing power over your fees so you can make the profit you should. Let me tell you a little story. I was walking through my house, and the first floor chandelier was shaking. What the heck is causing that? An earthquake was my first thought. No, this is Virginia. Earthquakes are rather rare. Then I heard the sound of the washing machine on the second floor. Could that be it? My wife Holly was already on the case. The washing machine shakes so much, we'll have to replace it. She spoke with finality. In my wife's mind, this was a near emergency. That darn thing would have to be replaced immediately. Stat. I silently objected. Could we put a pad under it? I already knew the answer. We were getting a new washing machine. The chandelier was just too valuable to destroy it all from the shaking. Sure, how much the new washer would cost mattered. But that is one thing Holly can do, is to find the right price. And price matters a lot to your patients. So, how can you use pricing principles to get the profit you should and make your patients feel great about what they pay in the process? Let's take a look. Here we'll cover three points you can use in your pricing to be more profitable. Number one, framing. Number two, the need it now principle. And number three, who you are. So let's begin with framing and framing for profit. How do you determine a fair price to pay for a product? Today, more than ever, you go online to compare and contrast the different offerings and their prices. Why? You're looking for a pricing context. Keep that in mind. A pricing context to evaluate what you consider a reasonable price. This pricing context is called framing. It shows relative value compared to different versions of the same basic product with their features. So let's take an example. You want to buy a bread maker. You find one option at $80 and another at $120. If you're a newbie, a new bread maker that is, you may not be able to evaluate or appreciate the value of the features on the $120 model. So you buy the $80 model thinking this is a safer choice or decision. This is called the two-option model. And now this is where it gets more interesting. When the three-option model is offered, let's look at it. We still have the $80 and $120 models there, but a super duper version priced at $547 is offered as well. This changes the equation and the decision making for most people. Now you are more likely to buy the $120 model, as it no longer seems to be the expensive option. The $120 model now looks more reasonable and less risky. After all, how good could the $80 model be? Who uses three and sometimes more options to frame prices and to give pricing context? Well, that's an easy answer. Just look at the pricing frames presented and given by Delta Airlines with their super economy, preferred, and business class seats. Marriott hotels offer different rooms and floors at vastly different prices. American Express offers a green, blue, gold, and black version of a card at significantly different annual fees. Virtually every offering, whether a product or service, can benefit from framing, and you can use it too. This leads us to the next point, the need it now factor. and the price you're willing to pay. Imagine it's a hot, sweaty day at the beach. Not recently, possibly, but let's pretend it's normal times. And you are thirsty. You decide to buy a Coke. So you go up to a vendor cart right on the beach. Here you will fork over $4 for a medium cup of Coca-Cola with ice. Not far away at a 7-Eleven store a block over, you could get a big gulp or even a liter for $1. Hey, 4 times as much for 25% of the price. Down the road 2 miles, the local grocery store has a sale and you can get 2 liters for $1. Why do you not willingly pay for the same product at drastically different prices? The short answer is convenience. It's simply easier to pay more and avoid the hassle of making the trek in the hot sun to the less expensive sources of this thirst quencher. You need it now, and you're quite willing to pay for it, and you're willing to pay for the ease and the speed with which you get it. Generally speaking, the more affluent and more willing, I'll give it to you again, the affluent are more willing to pay for ease, speed, and convenience. Why? Because their time is the one thing they can't get more of. Yes, they want outstanding value, but that ease, speed, and convenience is part of the value. So here's the question. How can you emphasize these factors of ease, speed, and convenience with your patients and the people you want as your patients? I can help if you want some help on that or get stuck. So this brings us to our third point, who you are. Back in the 1990s, Salton Manufacturing created a special clamshell design grill that heated on both sides at once. So the food never needed to be flipped. At first, their sales were mediocre, but then their sales soared once they received the endorsement of a celebrity named George Foreman, former heavyweight champion of the world. You know, George is famous for many things. Amongst those are having 5 sons all named George. Now, what happened with this thing? How much did this change of the name, how valuable was it? Well, as of 2009, that's 11 years ago as of today, they had sold 100 million units of this. How much did dear old George Foreman make from this? His endorsement has made him over $200 million because of who he is. Pretty impressive, huh? I think so. Now, here's the thing. This was a previously unknown household product. It used to be called the lean, mean, fat-reducing grilling machine. And once it was renamed the George Foreman Grill, it made product sales history. This example of who you are illustrates an important pricing principle. As price increases, who you are becomes more important. Like George Foreman, well, the chances are you can't. But you don't need to enjoy the who you are effect right where you live. You can become slightly famous in your local area or in your niche, even worldwide for that matter. We'll cover that in another time. Let's summarize. What are these 3 pillars of pricing power? Number 1, framing. This means giving your patient a pricing context to use as they compare and contrast what you offer. Now, a warning for you. If you haven't given them a context, they're going to find a context from somewhere else. And that usually won't be good for you. So you have to give them a context. I can help you do that. But understand this. Framing gives you it gives your patient a handle to grasp on, to hold, to make a choice. So they feel good about it. It makes for happier patients. The second pillar discussed here was the need it now factor. When your patient needs what you have right now and you can give it to them, plus you can do it quickly, comfortably, and make their life easier, the fee issue becomes much smaller. And it puts smiles on the faces of all your patients. The third pillar discussed was the power of who you are, or better stated, the power of how you are perceived. You probably won't ever be like George Foreman, but you can become famous right where you live. And for you as a dentist, that is all you really need. Becoming slightly famous to those within a 5 to 7 mile radius of your office location. Using these pricing principles to get more profit and make happier patients who send others to your practice. Oh, by the way, for information, as far as the shaking chandelier, that washer and dryer have been replaced. And the chandelier no longer shakes. Now, I suggest that you go over to masteryourpractice.com to get my book, How to Master Your Practice. Learn how to own your practice so it doesn't own you. Plus, there are other goodies there and resources that you can get for free. So, check out the Resource Center over at masteryourpractice.com. Oh, and be sure to like us and share us with your colleagues and friends. If you need help, I'm here. Until next time, I'm Dr. Charles Martin, but you can call me Charlie of masteryourpractice.com. Thanks for tuning in. Until next time, bye-bye for now, and so long.